All right, we should be live now. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Thank you for coming over to the DFS 5-pack. My name is Ryan Kostrowski. We are here to talk over the NBA slate for the 10th of June. Got ourselves a couple of games tonight. My Bucks host the Nets, and then we got the Jazz hosting the Clippers for game 2 of that matchup later on after that one. So hopefully we get some competitive basketball tonight. The Bucks Nets can't be less competitive than last game, since that was one of the worst basketball games I've ever seen a team play. So it's got to be better than that, you would think, right? It couldn't be worse. Let's hope so, at least. As far as who the show sponsor is today, it is none other than our boys over at Drafters. Best kept secret in DFS. I want to say congratulations once again to Mike Sims for taking down the baseball contest yesterday. You squeaked it out over me, my friend. You got me. You got me by a few points. Good for you. You got it. Nice win, Mike. We may run it back again today if we have time. Otherwise, still looking for more of you guys to come play with us. We got a bunch of new players in our rotation right now, and it's a good time to play on the daily. Monthly and weekly memberships available at the website link below. Hit that thumbs up button if you don't mind, and let's start out with today's cash lock. As far as the cheap guys on this slate goes, I'm looking at Bruce Brown to be my cash lock on the day. I enjoy the fact that he's available at the small forward position. Role players don't always play as well away from home, but I like this kid. I trust him to play well from the Nets' perspective tonight. Again, you get to play him at small forward, which is very, very helpful. And the Nets kind of need his wing defense, as we all know that defense isn't their strongest point. They played, pretty good defense last game, but Bruce Brown is a solid, versatile defender. You can get him out there on Chris, Drew, or whoever. And I like the fact that he doesn't depend on three-point shooting. So you feel pretty safe about him finding a variety of ways to kind of produce and consist on a daily basis, whether that be with steals, assists. He's a very good rebounder for a guy his size and everything like that. His minutes should be there. No problem. Still, you got no Jeff Green. You got no James Harden today, making his minutes even safer. So we should see a steady dose of Bruce Brown once again today. And he does seem to be getting a decent amount of love early in the day in regard to who the cheap guys are. So in a cash game, that makes even more sense for me. All right, next up, let's take a look to the other side of the ball. I'm going to take a look at Brook Lopez in this one. I got a nice price drop to start with, a price drop that probably wasn't even warranted. So at home today, you got to like that. Giannis did not play great at all. Either was Middleton the other day. Drew wasn't god-awful or anything like that. But Lopez he was encouraging. He's played well throughout the first two games. And I think there's room for growth right here. One, you get a couple of block shots. We haven't seen a lot of that so far. You could take a few more three-pointers. But more importantly, if his teammates don't give him shitty passes down on the block, like they've messed up a bunch of passes, whether it was Chris, Giannis, Drew, or anything, unnecessarily bad location on their drop-down passes to him on the block, where if they could give him good ones, put him in a better opportunity to score, I think there's room for growth in this one. Like, I won't at all be surprised if Lopez is over 30 DK points tonight. So he seems like a solid place to go at this price tag. As far as all the guys below 5K today, and I'm going to bring up a bunch of them, he is definitely going to be one of my favorites. Next up, let's go right back to the hand that fed us the other day, Donovan Mitchell. I am impressed. I am thoroughly impressed by this young man. Some guys get small in the playoffs. Think about Paul George. Think about my boy Giannis right now. The moment seems to get a little big for him. Crowds chanting, getting in their head. Some people feed off of that, and that's Donovan Mitchell. He's impressive, man. What an impressive second half. After being kind of a bust in the first half, too, he was nothing short of sensational the other day. And just like Luka gave it to the Clippers all series, I kind of expect Donovan Mitchell to give it to the Clippers all series long. Whether that means they're going to win this series or not, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as far as, putting up points and putting up DK points, I expect Mitchell just to ball all series long. I'm really becoming a bigger Mitchell fan. Every game he plays in the playoffs, I find this guy to be better and better. I expect this game to be close. I think we're going to see a full 4 quarters of Donovan Mitchell right here. As far as Mike Conley, man, there's arguments with him or without him. Like, Mitchell's playing big minutes no matter what. Conley clearly is not healthy, or he would have played in game 1. So even if he is out there, he's not 100%. I don't care that Donovan Mitchell got a price tag. I would be interested at 10K today. Not saying he would be a lock for me, but 8,900, this guy is that dude in big playoff games. And I think this is a big playoff game. If the Jazz win this game, they win the series, in my opinion. I know we just saw the Clippers come back being down 2-0, but the Jazz are just better than the Mavericks. So if they win this game, I think the series is all but over for me. I can't picture the Clippers beating them 4 out of 5 games. So I think we see the best of Mitchell tonight. I think this is a good game. I don't know who's going to win this one, but I think it's going to be, within 10 points. We're going to see a full 4 quarters of our guys in this game. All right, next up, Marcus Morris Sr. Let's be very clear. He's listed under long shots. He ain't no long shot today, guys. He's going to be relatively popular, and he deserves to be. If you take a look at the rest of the Clippers roster, they got a bunch of role players: Batum, Kennard, Rondo, Zubac. Even Beverly stepped down to the court. Jackson minutes were down. They lost last game, so they might play around with it again. The one guy I feel really confident is going to see his minutes is one of their veteran leaders, Marcus Morris Sr. He shot the ball. I don't know. He shot the ball like he was one of us the other day. He was bad. He was off. Doesn't mean he's going to be off today. Maybe a little bit tired. The Clippers were all-time terrible in the second half. Tired legs, coming off a big 7-game series. I mean, that game was predictably predictable with the Jazz having been rusty. It was rusty versus rested. It was rusty Jazz in the first half, rested Jazz in the second half. So I like Morris in any format today. He's way too cheap for my money at 4,500. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Last up, let's go to who it is actually a true long shot. And that's going to be right back to my Milwaukee Bucks, and let's talk about Bryn Forbes. So they've started PJ Tucker. So obviously the Bucks missed Dante DiVincenzo. He's kind of an unsung hero in this team only because he does a lot of the dirty work. You can run a lot of switching with him defensively. He's a good defender. He's a solid three-point shooter. They would need him. They'd still be down 2-0 if Dante was there. So it has nothing to do with the outcome of this series so far, especially last game. You could have added Michael Jordan to that team. They weren't doing anything against that next team. So we miss him. But that has nothing to do with why the Bucks are down 2-0. They've gotten their butts kicked, and the Nets, it would take a lot more than Dante DiVincenzo for them to be competitive. They miss him, but Forbes, to me, I think has got an opportunity tonight to come in and play more minutes than he has. So they like PJ Tucker for his defense and his veteran leadership, but that hasn't gotten us anywhere through 2 games. Tucker's seen better days from an offensive perspective, and we haven't done anything remotely in the area of stopping the Brooklyn Nets through the first 2 games. So maybe you got to try to – I'm not saying this is the right way to do it because, you'd hope that you could play some defense against them, but maybe you got to try to play a little bit more offense, and that's where Bryn Forbes steps in. Now, I know his DK score wasn't great the other day, but that was nobody's DK score was great from Milwaukee. I think Forbes – I could see him getting hot tonight. And if Milwaukee wants to win this game and get back into the series, they need somebody like a Bryn Forbes to step up and hit his 3-pointers tonight. So I think he's a true long shot. I think he's definitely the definition of a long shot. But they're going to need some offense. And I think he's kind of an unsung hero of this team from time to time as he gets red hot. And it did not look like the moment was too big for him. Half of the Milwaukee team the other day looked like the moment was too big for him. He wasn't one of them. Now, he didn't play huge minutes or anything like that. But look for maybe a potential shift tonight in what they're trying to do. And I think Bryn Forbes could easily play a few extra minutes tonight. So that is what I got for Thursday. Good luck tonight. And we will talk to you guys about night baseball in just a little bit.